He's still. I went to one of Bret Hart's shows in Vancouver when he came in and did his talks. He talked about all the drama in wrestling, and he still blames Goldberg to this day for wrecking his career.
What did Goldberg do?
Pardon? What did he do?
Yeah, didn't he hit him for real or something?
Accidentally. So what happened was when Bret Hart hopped over to WCW, he went to fight Goldberg, and Goldberg did his super kick and broke his neck.
Whoa!
Well, his neck or back, upper body, yeah.
Ooh.
And he retired right after that.
Wow, that was during Goldberg when he was hot. That's his run.
Yep.
Wow.
There was huge complaints about Goldberg back then that he was just way too stiff of a wrestler. Like he didn't care. Like he didn't. Like he thought that wrestling was about hitting people and kicking people, and the other wrestlers were getting to the point that they were tired of him. They didn't even want to go in the ring with him because he was
same with Ahmed Johnson and Ken Shamrock. Those were two guys that people started to refuse wrestling with because they thought that it was real.
My favorites when he came in.
Ahmed, he was awesome. He was huge.
That dude was built like a tank, man.
Yeah. But he was a little too rough, I guess.
Wow. Well, Booker T always said, once you do that, they call it a receipt. Wait for your receipt. The guy's going to give it back to you. You don't know when, but it's coming. And that's just the courtesy between the two. You accidentally went a little too hard, well, that receipt is coming.
Yep.
Yeah. James Cloud, what about you?
We got on different topics. So, what was the question again? I was just enjoying the story.
Was there ever a storyline where it pitted two wrestlers against each other? For maybe one match or maybe a number of matches that was your favorite?
Boy, I'm a sucker for a good storyline. So there were quite a few matches where Undertaker was involved, or Hulk Hogan when he was, he went from good guy to bad guy, that kind of thing. There were quite a few storylines that really I enjoyed. But again, Undertaker too, Yeah. Just something about the guy I like too. And I don't know, The Rock and Stone Cold as well. That was good. I can't name any favorite per se, but all of them were enjoyable.
Sheila?
I would say Hulk Hogan against Macho Man Randy Savage. Those were just so funny.
Well played. Yeah, that was a good one. How did we forget? Yeah.
So we used to love just the theatrics of everything. It's just they were like the superstars of the show, I guess, of wrestling to me, because they're characters. And everybody loved Hulk Hogan because he was just golden and all American. And Macho Man Randy Savage he was just like evil and tough and mean. So I like to see those two go at it. When I think of wrestling, because that was so long ago, because guys, I'm up here. I'm up in age. I'm almost knocking that 50 door. So it's like, to go back, that I had to be like 9 and 10 when I was looking at that stuff. So that's what I remember. I don't remember everybody though. It's just a few ones that stick out in my mind. So I've been over here cheating. I've been on my cell phone looking at the 80s wrestlers, so it can jar my memory, because, it's like, man, that was so long ago, and you don't hear anything about these guys anymore. No. So, but those storylines between those two, I love. Yeah.
You know who we forgot to talk about? Ravishing Rick Rude.
Yes! I remember. Yes, Ravishing Rick Rude.
Yep,
he was good.
Guy.
Yeah, he was good. He was really good. Yeah.
And then they tried to reboot it in the Attitude Era with Val Venus. Remember that guy?
I liked Val Venus. I thought that character was horrible.
It was.
Who is that horrible wrestler during that era? Gangrel?
The Brood, Gangrel. It was Gangrel. That's when Edge and Christian first came in. They came out as all vampires.
Oh. My God. Gangrel was horrible.
I see Gangrel all the time up here, Dave. He lives in Cloverdale. I always see him. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Seems like he's doing okay.
Gangrel got into porn afterwards.
I think so, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, he ended up doing like I think he ended up being like into really like grotesque type pornography.
Okay.
That's what I had heard.
Wow.
You remember how wrestling was before, back in the day where you never really got to see the superstars match up against each other. You had some losers. You had guys who was losing every week to the stars. Kenny J and
the Brooklyn Brawler.
Yeah, a guy named. You guys remember George Scrap Iron Kadeski?
No.
Mm-mm.
That's probably one of my favorite storylines. George Scrap Iron Kadeski was some guy who was kind of losing all the time, and one day he lucked up and beat a major star or whatever, and part of Heenan's gang, and so they was gonna have this big match, and Crusher took George from under his belt, and George didn't take a bath. That was the storyline. He didn't take a bath until the night of the match, so he smelled like sewage and a skunk and everything. But it smelled really bad. And he and the Crusher went in there. I think they beat Botwinkle and Ray Stevens. So that was a great one. And then Flair against a young Sting and Luger when they first came in, they were going for Flair, and those were some great matches. They never got over the hump, at that time, but those were some great matches, taking him to the limit.
See, those were two wrestlers, actually, I don't like. When you asked the question earlier, not my favorite, Sting and Lex Luger.
Well, yeah. Well, I could probably see Luger, but what was wrong with Sting?
His buzz cut and face paint, and I didn't like the gimmick.
I hated Sting. To this day, I hate Sting. Can't stand him.
And then he tried to be cool and go to the NWO and do the whole face. Nope, not my guy.
That's when the NWO started getting stupid.
Too many. Buff Bagwell. He got Scott Hall.
Buff Bagwell was awesome, but he was totally underrated.
I agree.
It got to the point with the NWO that they never ever had anybody finish a match, because every time the wrestler was losing, they would jump in and it would be a disqualification. Like every Monday night would end in a disqualification, and it got frustrating.
Oh, what about when Flair and Arn Anderson finally went at it? You guys remember that?
That's vintage Ric Flair for you.
Really vintage.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that. They seen interviews with some of the wrestlers. It was like everybody just if you had a match earlier, everybody just hurried up so they could be in the front row to see that one. Flair and Arn Anderson, two cousins. Finally going at each other.
Ric Flair's daughter, Charlotte Flair, she's a really good wrestler.
Yeah. What about David? David's all right too, isn't he?
David Flair?
Yeah.
Is he still alive?
No, it's the other Flair who died.
Okay. Yeah, I'm not sure about David.
Yeah, but she's doing really well. Right?
Yeah.
She's doing good. Yeah. Who's your favorite all-time female wrestler?
The Fabulous Moolah. He was like 80 years old and still pinning people. Loved it.
Oh, I have to think about that one.
What you guys thought about China?
No.
I like China, but I mean, that's a tragic story right there.
Yeah, it is.
Tragic story.
Okay, I'm nosy. Enlighten me. What happened with her?
Well, she ended up thinking that should be paid like a man, because after she had her boob job and after she had her facial surgery to make her look more feminine, she really started getting wrestling men and everything, and she thought that she should be paid as one of the top talented wrestlers, and Vince McMahon wouldn't do it, and eventually she got into a lot of drugs, because the Generation X team was just a bunch of cokeheads and everything like that, and so she ended up getting really wild with X-Pac, and I guess they were in a very tumultuous type, violent type relationship, and she ended up quitting the WWE after contract issues, and nobody else would pick her up for movies or anything like that, and because she thought she was invincible, and Vince showed her that she wasn't invincible, and then eventually she kind of spiraled down the road and ended up getting into the porn industry, and it just didn't work out for her, and she ended up dying of an overdose, I believe.
Yeah, that's what I remember of her, unfortunately.
You know what? That just makes me think. That's why I think, regardless what profession you go in, when you put your cape on or whatever, you got to know how to take it off and live in the real world.
Yes.
Because sometimes I think we get so many people, as you look at the celebrity lives, we can see it all the time. They get the lines crossed, and to where they actually think they are the characters they're portraying to the world. But you have the real life that you still have to contend with. Mm-hmm. And so that's why you have to be, like, I've thought about this so much, I'm telling you, because all my life I wanted to be a big star, be famous and all that kind of stuff. But as I got older and I look at and I see people just spiraling out of control, because it's people put you on that pedestal, then they snatch you down off of it. Or they're the yes mans to you to let you do anything you want to do that's self-destructive. And if you don't have any discipline, man, you in trouble. You in big time trouble. So it's like, I'm glad I never made it to that pinnacle, especially with Hollywood, because it's such a facade. And if you're not rooted in your mind, you don't have a stable mind, you can lose yourself. Mm-hmm. And that's so sad. When I was watching a story about Journey, the group Journey, and I know this is not about wrestling, but it's just I love that group. And Stephen Perry, he was talking about how he walked away in 1989, I think he said he did, from the group, because it was just too much. The fame, the girls, the drugs, you know what I'm saying? He said if he didn't stop, he was gonna, lose control. And so he wanted to just go back to normal life. And I was like, man, that's admirable. And if y'all see him, y'all should watch his interview. He looks damn good. Damn good. So it's like, I don't know. I just wanted to say that because that's sad. I hate when I hear stories about people who were just like people that we looked up to, or they were, on TV, or they were stars, and then they kind of like they lost their way. Because at first, when you're watching these people, you think they are invincible. You think their lives are perfect. They're having the best time in their life and all this good stuff. But that's only one aspect that we see. We don't know, like, when they go home, the depression and what they deal with. So, man, that's deep. That's sad for China. I might have to look up her story though, because I love watching about people's stories, their life stories, their documentaries. Yeah.
Sheila, you ever seen the movie Rockstar?
No.
That's starring Mark Wahlberg. I think it's based on a true story. The Rockstar is an excellent movie to look at as far as a young man realizing his dream of being a famous rock singer, taking over the lead of a famous rock band, and then finding his life kind of spiraling out of control, and eventually walking away. That's a great movie.
I agree.
I'm gonna check it out. Yeah, check it out. Yeah.
There's a good documentary series on Amazon Prime called Beyond the Mat: Wrestling's Dark Tales.
Oh,
And there's 2 seasons for sure. I don't know if there's a third out right now, but it highlights all of these guys, not all of, some of the wrestlers' stories of like suicide, depression, criminal activity. They're all just different wrestlers' stories. It's pretty intense to watch.
Okay.
So yeah, I think they got one on. I think they talk about Chris Jericho on one of them. No, sorry, not Chris Jericho. Chris Benoit.
Okay, yeah.
He killed his family and then committed suicide.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah. So we took a turn into Dark Town now.
Right. I'm like, okay, on a lighter
They're all
note.
dark stories.
On a lighter note.
Sheila, you actually bring up a good point, because I just want to say something. Like, I am by no means a celebrity, but there's a lot of people, due to the size of my show, who look at me in that kind of term, and I'm also very open about suffering from depression and anxiety, and I try and keep my family right away from my radio / podcast YouTube life, because you do need some sense of privacy. But it's amazing, though, how people will get to you, and like, I'm small peanuts, man. I mean, I really am. But I remember, and Merle was actually at my house the night I found out my 29-year-old nephew had passed away, and we set up a memorial page that I had signed up for that we had signed up for my nephew, for family and friends. I had listeners posting on there, and I wasn't even using my radio name. Like, Dave Scott is like my real first name is Dave, but Scott is my middle name. I keep my last name and everything because I need some privacy. There are people. Do I hide it? If somebody finds me, do I hide it? No, but I got my other Facebook profile on pretty tough lockdown because of it. And it's scary when all of a sudden you have audience members who are posting on you've never met these people before, and they're posting on your nephew's memorial page, and people getting pissed off at you because they sent you a private DM on Facebook or Twitter, and you didn't respond, because like, I've had people literally go nuts on me, and once again, I'm a nobody. I'm just a small time radio host in the grand scheme of things, but I've had people go nuts on me about me being a jerk and an a-hole and an attitude and an ego because I didn't get back to them about the video of a UFO that they sent me. They don't understand that at the time they sent it to me, I work a daytime job in order to pay my mortgage and my bills. I work, Mike knows very well because he's seen it. I work 16 to 17 hours a day, 5 days a week, the last 7 years. And people don't understand that there are times where I don't have time to get back. Right. I really don't. But they take it like you're doing it personally, and so like what you were saying about the depression and anxiety, and coming home, and it's like some days even as small time as what we are, I will throw my hands up and I'll be like, I'm done. Like, I just can't take this anymore because there's so much pressure and there's so much attitude and this is supposed to be my full-time job and it's not, like if I had to live off my podcast, I'd be homeless. Right.
Yeah.
So it goes around to a lot of different areas, and I just wanted to bring that up.
It's a great point. Mm-hmm. James Cloud, do you have anything to add?
Thanks for sharing. I got to say that. I used to be in the support group, guys, and we tell our stories, you know, whatever we're dealing with. And at the end, they'll say, thanks for sharing. So I appreciate you for sharing that, because I go through depression a lot as myself. So thank you. Thank you, Dave.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I'm very much open about my depression and anxiety. That's for sure, you know, because I'm one of these people. I grew up in one of those houses that we're not supposed to talk about things like that. And I'm just like, screw that, you know?
Yeah.
Like if I talk about it, maybe Merle, if he has it, talks about it, or Roy or James or even yourself, right? Why hide it?
Right. James, still there?
I am. I got disconnected for a second for some reason.
Okay. Yeah. Did you have anything to say on that? Now, those were some great points he brought up about the depression and everything. You know, and Captain, just before he speaks, I just want to say, it became real for me when Robin Williams did what he did when he passed. That hit me really, really tough, because he was one of the celebrities I kind of looked up to, and it just on the outside, you just seen somebody who just was just so, with joking all the time and happy and everything, and you just never knew, I guess, whatever battles he was fighting behind closed doors. And I just remember that one just really took me by shock when I heard about Robin Williams. Rest in peace.
Well, you know what? I mean, that's a perfect example of somebody like my show. I've been med free on I was diagnosed in 2013. I have been med free on depression medications and anxiety medication since 2014. And my show is like, I end my night every night on a high with my radio show. And I can tell you that there are times where people in the paranormal and supernatural and UFO world and the cryptid world, they are so ruthless at times that and Merle and I have had some very personal conversations about the paranormal world, that, I mean, the stuff that I have experienced in the paranormal world, I've never experienced in real life.
I second that.
And it beats the tar out of you. It really does. And I mean, I don't know how many times, in private conversations with Merle, that we've almost broke down to each other, because it's too much. It's too much when people you don't even know are dragging your name through the mud. I mean, a couple of years ago, I had somebody try to accuse me very, very vocally on Twitter that I was a homophobe, that I was racist, that I was a misogynist, and I'm not neither of the three. And it hurt me so bad that, like, when you suffer from depression and anxiety, and people are making such horrendous false claims and they don't even know you, it really, it brings some very dark thoughts into your head. And, I remember talking to my partner about it, and I'm just like, what did I was crying, and I'm like, what did I do to deserve this? What did I do? I mean, this hurts. I've never done any of that, I mean, especially, when I was being attacked about being a homophobe, these people who were doing it don't know how close that is to my family, with my daughter being part of the LGBTQA+ community, and I don't talk about my private life on the air, but you know what? These people out there who are internet tough, they don't care. They don't care. They will do anything to ruin anybody in order to get ahead. And, Merle's experienced it with the paranormal in Vancouver. And I've experienced it numerous times with SOR. And we tend to forget that we're humans.
Yes.
Excuse me.
Bless you.
Bless you.
I apologize. But they tend to forget that behind this computer, we're human. Each and every one of us are human beings. And, you know, the internet has been such a beautiful thing, but it has been probably the most evil byproduct of humanity ever. You know, because with the law now, I mean, back in the day, you know, even going back 25 years ago, if I had a problem with you, Roy, I would come up to you and hey man, I hear you talking smack about me, you know, are we going to talk this out or are we just going to duke it out? There was no guns, there was no knives, there was no 18 troll profiles to make sure that I destroyed you. There was no, I mean, if I had a problem with somebody, I wouldn't accuse them of anything that is what is being accused today of people.
Yes.
You know, and it's horrible. It's disgusting. And I'm sorry, it's a very touchy subject for me. And you know, it hurts, man. And people don't understand that in the end, you know, I look at us five here doing this podcast here, and you know, I don't know you people. I know Mike, but I don't know you guys that well. But when I look at your faces, I mean, I can't see anything that I hate. I can't see anything that would make me be bitter towards any of you. You know, just because my religious beliefs may be different than James's or my skin color is different than you guys, I don't give a care. It means nothing to me, you know, and we got to get back to that humanity of how are you treating me? How about you just treat me like a human being? You know, take out the politics, take out all the bullshit that is there. And the paranormal community, and I know I'm going on a rant here and I apologize,
no,
but
that's fine.
The paranormal community needs an enema of all the bullshit that is going on in it. And I don't like it. That's the one thing I hate about this field is you can't be you, you know, like yesterday, I got blamed for something because another host that sometimes comes on my network doesn't like the way COVID is being portrayed. He's had COVID, lost his mother to COVID. I had two people who I thought were close to me come up and say to me, if he's ever on your show again, I'm never coming back.
Wow. Two
people that I know and trust and love in this field. Two. Yesterday, this happened at about 5:30. That's what we deal with, you know. And I'm sitting here saying, what happened? My question to both of them was, what happened to free thought? They're allowed their opinion. They're allowed their opinion. You know, my opinion's different. Your opinion's different. So you're going to hold me hostage when I have nothing to do with it. You're going to hold me and my show hostage or try to? Go F yourself. I don't care who you are on the show or how popular you are. Screw you.
Right.
That's the type of stuff we have to deal with. That's what, Sheila, sinks me with my depression. Like last night, I felt my blood pressure up. I felt everything. Like I was, even if you go back and listen to my show that last night, you can hear I stumble right out of the gate because I am so tight and nervous and my mind is not on here. It's great. Now I got to deal with
you know,
drama.
It gets back to that, you know how we used to say as kids, sticks and stones break your bones, but names will never hurt. That's a lie. Names do hurt when people say ugly things, even if you're a woman or man, doesn't matter. They hurt. And you find yourself trying to defend yourself against the people out there and also the voices in here, you know, so you just gotta deflect those because you know who you are and what your story is.
Absolutely.
And the image you want to portray. You don't have to justify yourself to people out there in the world that you most likely will never even meet. They don't even count in the bigger scheme of things in your day-to-day life. And I think that's what we got to fight for. We got to fight to deflect all this negativity that tries to, it fights for our attention. because you find yourself throughout the day thinking, rehearsing, well, I should have said this, or I'm going to say this, I'm going to type this. It's a waste of time. It's a waste of time because you can never convince everybody who you are. And you know what I've adopted in my life? I'm not responsible for your perception of me. I'm going to just be authentically me. And you could think whatever you want to think because you're not responsible for other people's thoughts. You can't control another person, how they think or how they feel. And so I've learned throughout my life, and I'm 47, and I've learned, I was like, you know what? I'm not going to try to keep proving to them who I am. Why do that? It's like you're kind of in a cage. You put yourself in a cage, I feel, when you try to do that to people, because you're going to have a lot of people that meet you that just don't like you. They don't like the way your eyes look. They don't like the way your hair is. They don't like your color of your skin or whatever, you know? And so I learned to just let that stuff go and just be me, because at the end of the day, I have got to live with myself. I got to accept myself. And it took me a long damn time to accept who I am, because I'm different. I always felt like I was, you know, different and I'll outcast, you know? So at this stage in my life, it's like, I don't care. Screw you. You don't think what you want to think, you know?
You know what the other hard part about this is nobody wants the truth anymore. They only want to be offended by the accusation. And it doesn't matter who you are, what you are, paranormal investigator, personal life, whatever it may be. If somebody hears something juicy about you, they want to be so offended that, you know, this is why I don't support this whole cancel culture BS that's out there, because too many people have been railroaded by this these onslaught of attacks, you know, much worse than I've ever had. And literally, you know, that when the truth comes out, it's nothing like what happened. But the problem is the court of public opinion has absolutely ruined you. And that's like, guys, like on my show, I have as Quest knows, I have a no COVID policy. And I get people yelling at me in my own chat room saying, you know, this isn't free speech. No, it's not. It's not, because that's my chat room. It's Daveunism. It's Daveocracy. Okay. I set the rules. And if you want to go talk your anti-vax BS, or if you want to talk your pro mask crap, not in my room. Right. And people just don't get it. And people want to be offended, and they want to be mad, and they want to take it out on somebody. And sorry, you're not going to take it out on me. I'm 48 years old and I don't need it. I think I'm old enough to tell you to F off if I need to. And I have told listeners to piss off and don't come back. If that's the way you're going to be, don't come back. I'm not going to block you, but don't come back. Right? Or then you get the people who will come into your chat room and they'll be all asking, you know, hey, everybody, how you doing? Good to see you. And then they go into another chat room and they're like, oh, that idiot Dave Scott, or that idiot chat room, or that's a horrible show. And they're just slamming you in a different chat room. Those people I ban. If I catch people who are slamming me, my listeners, my guests, my show in another chat room, and then you come into mine to kiss ass, you're gone. You're gone. Don't need it. Yeah. I'll get the one thing people forget about the positivity about my job with the radio show. I always get the final word.
There you go.
Oh, I got something here.
Where'd he go?
No, we're about to wrap this up in a few minutes anyway.
We're in this the whole time for Quest.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Is that a Milwaukee Brewers, or is that an M for Merle?
It could be both.
Home of the Badgers. That's a nice Milwaukee Brewers cap.
Well, I actually had a listener send it to me who's a Brewers fan.
Oh, okay.
And so I know you're a big time Brewers fan, so I figured I'd quickly throw it on for you.
Thank you. Brewers, Bucks, Packers. There we go. So to give everybody a final word, this one has been better than I thought. It was great show.
I had fun. I enjoyed actually though even talking about what we just talked about, because it's okay to talk about that stuff. And previous to that, all of the wrestling stuff, we brought up some good names. We brought up some good WWE, WWF stuff.
So what's on deck for the Paranormal Road Trippers? You guys got any new investigations?
Yeah, in about 15 minutes, I'm leaving to go to a house to do what am I doing there? Researching and investigating some haunted objects, potentially haunted objects.
Okay.
Some dolls. That's what we're doing. So we're leaving in about 15-20 minutes. And then coming up for 2022, starting March, we have a road trip every month.
Whoa.
Yeah, busy. We're gonna come see you, Dave.
If you guys come to the Chicago, Milwaukee area, Indiana, in that Midwest, let me know. I'd love to get with you guys on something.
Sounds good. I want to come out that area because there's I forget the name of this pub that I want to go to in Wisconsin. Yeah, I like that. Once the COVID laws are over for the border, I need to jump into the States again. It's been too long.
I just got some information. Went interviewed some people. This bar called Who's on Third here in downtown Milwaukee, and it's a little girl that haunts that place that they've seen in the basement. And I got some of that those accounts. So I'm probably gonna be going there to get some more information.
Let's do it. And go to the old Baraboo Inn. That's the place.
Okay. All
and
right.
Shaker's Cigar Bar. Those are the two places.
Okay, yeah. All right, let's talk on that further. James Cloud.
Yes, sir.
Okay, yeah. I think I'm scheduled to talk to you Monday, but what's going on with you and your ministry and everything that you're doing?
The interesting thing is we had been having just a slew of calls because, we're not paranormal investigators, really. Yeah. We're there to do a job, go in like the SWAT team and deal with things. Because we're not called until the craps literally hit the fan and the fan's flying around the room.
Right.
But myself, one of my exorcists, and both of my demonologists, we were talking the other day, and it is bone quiet as far as getting calls right now. And it's been that way for a few months. And we're all wondering if it's the calm before the storm, Okay. It's like, I have those rough and tumble stories of going into some of these places that are spectacularly haunted, and getting the job done. But it's just been quiet. We haven't been getting any calls. And the only calls we do get, because we look at mental health, we look at substance use, just to confirm. We'll look at evidence that investigators send us. But then we go further, because as an exorcist, you have to. You don't want to go running in, kicking down a door and scream demons everywhere. You want to see if it's personal demons above the actual ones. But we've had nothing. And globally, there are things moving towards a final solution, if you will, and using that term correctly. So I don't know if the bad boys are just extra busy or they're lying low until the flood comes. So, but we'll find out.
And I will contact you tomorrow. We're going to set up so I can talk to you next week.
Sounds great. Thank
you, my brother.
I'm always open to chat.
Oh yeah. And we've enjoyed chatting with you, man, for the last couple of years. We've learned so much from you. Sheila? I know you're starting your new podcast and everything. Just give us a brief on what you got going on.
Okay, well, my podcast, name my organization, She Bops Entertainment. I'm going to highlight 4 segments. I'm going to tell stories of goodness about, humanity, because we hear so much of the negative. I want to just evoke people to see that there's good stuff going around the world. Secondly, I'm going to talk about, it's going to be story time, where we give personal testimonies and about our lives, and how we dealt with different things. And then I'm going to do what I call my bopping around, my skits and spoken word. It's going to be the 3rd highlight. And then finally, I'm going to close it out with scriptures, just empowering people, positive things and things of that sort. And you know what? I got to say this. I am so glad that I jumped on here and I met you guys. I have a lot of situations as far as paranormal, dealing with demons, shadow people, imps that I've dealt with all my life and continue to deal with. And it's amazing that I mean that you guys are into that kind of stuff, because I've never met people, because all my life I've been told, why did that only happen to you? And my sister would be in the same room with me when we were kids growing up. And here I got things coming at me and snatching me under the bed and all this kind of stuff. Just a lot of stories. And even growing up, my children, we fought a lot of things. And I tend to find that I'm strong. I can fight it when I'm focused on God. When I'm focused on God and the Lord, I can fight it. If I'm in my flesh, no, I'm getting beat up. I'm getting pretty beat up. So I got a lot of situations. This is amazing. I can't wait to talk to you guys about all my journey, and I continue to experience, because it's not over just because I'm picking up my Bible and reading. I mean, I'm really fighting real stuff here. And I try not to, what I try to do now, because I love scary movies, I have tried lately not to watch them, because it's like an invitation. It's like a door that, that I will open up basically. And it's like they're fighting to get in. I mean, you know what I'm saying? I've had situations where I've had, honestly, 16 people at my house. We partying, listen to music, playing cards, and I'm getting 3 knocks at the door where everybody like, what's that? Oh, wow. So I'm talking about, I couldn't believe it that like it did it in front of everybody. You know what I'm saying? So I can't wait to share my experiences with you guys. And yeah. I'm glad I met you guys. I really am. I hope we can talk soon.
Yeah, most definitely. I know the captain's people will be getting with you, and so I look forward to hearing you on SOR pretty soon. And before I give that captain go, and I know Merle's about to get out of here and go do his thing. Captain, one thing I always loved about the SOR chat room, and that's why I kept coming back. From day one, when I was in the chat room listening to your show for the first time, there was a sense of family, sense of respect, and just people who kind of are into the same thing, just respecting each other and everything. And I love how if you got a guest on or anything sideways is said or whatever, you address that issue, and you're in charge of what goes on, and you protect people. And I always respected that about you, and I always will. So I want to say thank you for that. That's why I'm always returning. I'm always there. Might miss here and there, but for the most part, I'm there, and I respect that. So what you do, thank you for that. So before we close out, Captain, go ahead and give us a final word, and then we'll get out of here.
Well, I just want to say thank you for bringing myself and this great panel on tonight. Talk about a lot of fun topics that are out there, and I know it kind of got a little serious there at the end, and I'll take blame for that. But it's good people such as yourself and the people on this panel that really prove that when you talk humanely to each other, good things can happen. And I think that's one thing Roy, that you have this incredible ability to do with your show is to, and I've listened to a number of them, but you treat everybody the same. You don't put people on a pedestal. You don't put people below the pedestal. I mean, you want people to treat you the way you want to be treated, and I admire and respect that. And you know, a lot of podcasts out there and radio shows, YouTube shows, we're all copycats of somebody somewhere. And the one thing that I try and take from your show and your attitude is to treat people equally. It doesn't matter how rich you are, poor you are, or whatever it may be. And that's something that a lot of people are forgetting, man, and you need to be commended for that. So thank you so much for having us on and being that awesome person. The other thing I just want to say is thank you, everybody, for having some fun with us. And Sheila, I can't wait to get you on Spaced Out Radio to talk about your experiences. I mean, both the other three have been on my show, so you know, I'm sure you could get some advice from them with how easy and nurturing it'll be. But I very much look forward to hearing your stories in depth. And thank you for allowing me to meet you, and I look forward to it.
All right, Questers. We had a great show tonight. Just everyone, you know, thanks to Dave Scott, thanks to Merle, thanks to Archbishop James Cloud and Sheila Kitchens. We're out. Thank you very much. This has been The Quest. I'm Roy Washington. Love you guys.
Love you too, buddy.
You too, man.
Have a good night.
You guys.
Good luck with the investigation, my friend.
Thank you.
Good luck. Good luck, guys.